What if I told you, you don't make them miss you by texting more, or by trying harder, or by proving your worth. You make them miss you by disappearing. Not in bitterness, not in anger, but in silence. The kind that speaks louder than words. Because silence makes people listen, and distance makes people feel. It gives them the chance to notice what they had and what they lost. See, most men think that being present all the time is what creates connection, that showing up constantly will earn love. But the Stoics knew better. They knew that value isn't created by availability. It's created by presence with purpose, by not chasing, but becoming. When you remove yourself, not out of spite, but out of strength, you shift the dynamic completely. Suddenly, you're no longer predictable. You're no longer a backup plan. Your mystery, your power, you're gone. And that's when they start to remember. That's when they replay the memories. That's when they ask, how did I lose him? Because you didn't just walk away, you evolved. And now, you're unreachable. Today, we're diving into 4 Stoic principles that will not only make them miss you, they'll wonder how they ever lived without you. This is not about revenge, it's about returning to yourself and becoming the kind of man who never begs to be remembered because he's impossible to forget. Welcome to Stoic Spirit. If this message hits home, make sure to subscribe, support the channel, and let's walk this path of strength and silence together. Let's begin. Principles 1. Let go of control and take back your power. You can't control their feelings. You can't force their attention. You can't make someone stay when their heart has already left the room. But there's one thing, and only one thing, you always have complete command over: your response. The Stoics were unshakable on this truth. Trying to control what's outside of you is the quickest path to suffering. Every time you obsess over their reply, every time you replay their words at 3 a.m., every time you check if they've seen your message, you're handing your power to someone who might not even be thinking about you. That's not strength, that's emotional slavery. So here's the shift: stop trying to control them and start mastering you. Master your focus. Master your habits. Master the art of silence. When you pull your energy back from them, you create a vacuum. And nature hates a vacuum. Let them feel your absence. Let them sit in the silence where your presence used to be. Because that space, that absence, it speaks louder than any desperate message ever could. It says, I'm no longer available for breadcrumbs. It says, I've outgrown your inconsistency. And when you do this, not from ego but from clarity, everything shifts. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose yourself. And paradoxically, that's when others start to notice. Not because you begged, but because you stopped being predictable. You became still. You became sovereign. And that's attractive, not just romantically, but energetically. Because here's the truth. Most people spend their lives trying to control outcomes, people, timelines. But the Stoic man understands that's wasted effort. The only battle worth winning is within. When you control your breath in chaos, when you remain unshaken in uncertainty, you become magnetic, you become rare. Practical Stoic practice. Every morning, before you check your phone, ask, what am I trying to control today that's not mine? Then mentally release it. Write it down and burn it if you have to. Instead, spend the next 30 minutes mastering something you can control: your body, your business, your mindset. Frame to remember, my power doesn't come from holding on. It comes from letting go, with strength, not weakness. Because real power isn't about controlling others. It's about becoming so grounded that no one can shake your center. Principles 2. Stop needing validation. Start building value. Let's be real. Every time you check they've seen your Instagram story, every time you reword a message 3 times hoping for the perfect response, every time you silently ask yourself, do they miss me yet? You give them the keys to your self-worth. And here's the harsh truth. They're not qualified to hold them. The Stoics taught that happiness isn't something you earn from others. It's something you cultivate from within. Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So why let those thoughts be hijacked by someone who can't even make up their mind about you? Here's what most men don't realize. When your identity is tied to someone else's attention, you've already lost. because now you need them to validate your existence. But the moment you flip the script and build from within, the game changes completely. Instead of seeking validation, start building value. And not for them, for you. Read a book that challenges you. Start lifting heavy. Learn a skill that pays. Clean your space. Meditate. Stack quiet wins. Stack so many wins that your confidence becomes unshakable. Why? Because confidence isn't loud. It's not flexing or bragging. It's the quiet knowing that you don't need to prove yourself. You've done the work. You are the work. This is what Stoicism teaches. True value is not something you ask to be seen. It's something you embody so clearly, it cannot be ignored. And here's the paradox. The less you need someone's approval, the more they want yours. Because they sense something they can't quite explain. Your groundedness, your depth, your self-respect. You're not easy to impress because your standards are internal. And that energy, it draws people in. Practical Stoic practice. Each week, track your progress only in things you control. Did I show up to train? Did I spend 30 minutes learning? Did I practice restraint today? Make your own scoreboard and play the long game. Over time, others will see your growth, but more importantly, you will respect yourself. And that's the validation that never fades. Mindset to install. I don't need applause to keep growing. I grow because it's who I am. You want them to miss you? Don't wait for their attention. Become so rare, so driven, so aligned that they can't stop thinking about you. But by then, you'll be too focused on your mission to notice. And hey, if this message is speaking to something deep inside you, if you found value in this video so far, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel and help us bring even more Stoic wisdom into your life. Your presence here truly matters. Thank you. Principles 3. Emotional independence. Be the calm in the storm. Most men get emotional and they let it destroy them. One message left on read and they spiral. She gets distant and they panic. They send a long paragraph, then another, then a sorry I bothered you. And just like that, all their power is gone. That's exactly what they expect from you. Weakness, reactivity, a man who can't hold his ground. But you're stoic. You feel it all, but you don't let it control you. You let the wave pass, and then you respond with calm, with self-respect, with presence. Because that's what true strength is. Not the guy who talks the loudest, not the one who demands attention, but the man who stands unshaken while everyone else falls apart. The Stoics understood that emotions are not the enemy, but letting emotions drive your decisions is. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Here's the truth. Emotions are waves. They rise, they peak. And if you don't grab onto them, they pass. But most men react in the peak, where clarity is lowest and regret is highest. The Stoic man observes, he breathes, he delays, and in that space, he reclaims his power. And when you become that man, the one who's unfazed by drama, unbothered by silence, unmoved by attention games, you instantly become more attractive. You become safe, solid, masculine, a rare force in a reactive world. Practical Stoic practice. Create what Epictetus called a pause ritual. Before reacting, especially when triggered, ask yourself 3 things. Is this worth my energy? What would my higher self do? Will I regret how I respond in 24 hours? If the answer isn't clarity, wait, journal it, train it out of your system. That delay is where your emotional mastery is built. Mental frame to live by. My emotions don't define me, my values do. Let them feel the contrast between men who are controlled by their moods and the man who commands his world by controlling himself. That's Stoicism. That's irresistible. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Principles 4. Build a life that echoes in their absence. Here's the truth most men miss. People don't miss you when you fall apart. They miss you when you rise without them. If your life stops the moment they pull away, you become forgettable. But if your life gets better, if you start glowing in your silence, now they feel the loss. Think of it like this. Your life is music, a rhythm, a story. If they once had a seat in your world and now they're gone, what they'll remember is the sound, the frequency, the energy you carried. But if you stop playing the song, There's nothing to miss. That's why the Stoics were obsessed with purpose. Marcus Aurelius didn't just survive heartbreak or hardship, he ruled Rome and journaled about death every night. Why? Because he knew that the most powerful response to suffering is creation. Creation of meaning, creation of progress, creation of legacy. So here's the move. Build a life so rich in purpose, so filled with self-respect and movement, that your absence becomes impossible to ignore. Not through manipulation, but through momentum. Because when you keep building, evolving, growing, they can't place you anymore. The version of you they once knew no longer exists, and that's when they start to feel the space. The echo. The what if. Practical Stoic practice. Every Sunday, reflect on this. What am I building that makes me proud? Even if no one claps, make time to invest in 4 pillars. Body, strength, presence. Mind, discipline, clarity. Purpose, work plus legacy. Spirit, values, silence. When these align, your energy shifts, and when your energy shifts, you no longer need to be remembered, you become unforgettable. Mindset to repeat daily. I don't build for applause, I build because I was born to rise. So don't chase closure, don't hope they'll come back. Create something so powerful in their absence that even if they do, it's too late. Because by then, you've become someone they can't reach. Not because you blocked them, but because you've outgrown the place where they left you. Bonus principle. Master the art of becoming unavailable. Let's get brutally honest. You can't miss what's always there. You don't value what's always accessible. The human brain is wired for scarcity. We want what we can't easily have. And the more someone is available 24/7, the more we unconsciously lower their value. This is why Stoic men don't just walk away in silence. They master the art of being unavailable with intention. Unavailable doesn't mean distant. It means selective. It means your time, your presence, your energy are reserved for things that actually move your life forward. You're not ignoring them to manipulate them. You're simply choosing your mission over their moods. Most guys will cancel their gym session to reply to a text. They'll pause their goals, their sleep, their focus, just to keep someone entertained. But the high-value man, he honors his rhythm. He protects his time like a king protects a kingdom. And that's why people start to crave his presence, because it's rare, purposeful, and earned. And here's what separates the Stoic man from everyone else. His energy is no longer reactive. It's directed. He doesn't give away his presence to anyone who didn't earn it. He doesn't explain his silence. He doesn't justify his focus. He simply moves, and the world learns to follow his pace or be left behind. Because being unavailable isn't about absence. It's about intentional access. It's about elevating your time into something sacred and only inviting those in who align with your direction. Practical Stoic practice. Take a full day and audit your attention. Track every notification, every reply, every scroll, and ask yourself, was this building me or was I being drained? Then restructure. Remove apps that steal presence. Schedule deep work blocks with zero access. Delay your replies with purpose. Replace reaction with redirection from text to training. Your time is your soul's currency. Spend it like a man who knows what his life is worth. Mental frame to install. I'm not distant, I'm devoted. Not unreachable, just unavailable to things that don't serve my vision. Because here's the twist. The moment you stop making yourself an option, you become a priority in their mind. They don't chase what's easy, they chase what's ascending. And nothing is more magnetic than a man moving forward, unapologetically. So stop waiting for their attention. Become the kind of man who's too busy building to notice who's watching, and too grounded to care. The world doesn't need more available men. It needs more men of purpose, whose presence is felt and whose absence is remembered. Be the one who walks away with peace. They don't miss the man who begged. They don't remember the man who waited by the phone, typing and deleting, hoping she'd care again. They forget the man who over-explained, who apologized for existing, who gave too much and expected too little. They miss the man who walked away, quietly, calmly, with no explanation. The man who chose his peace over their confusion. The man who disappeared, not out of spite, but because he had something far more important to build. Himself. See, your silence isn't emptiness. It's power. It's what happens when you've said enough, with your energy, with your effort, with your presence, and now you let the absence do the talking. Let them feel what it's like to lose someone who didn't scream, didn't beg, didn't fight, just evolved. Let them realize they didn't lose the version of you that needed them. They lost the version that outgrew them. And if they come back, it won't matter, because by then you won't be waiting. You'll be thriving. You'll be so far ahead, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that going back won't even be an option. Because men like you don't circle back. You level up, you rise, you rebuild, and you never ever beg to be remembered, because your presence leaves an echo that can't be forgotten. This is what it means to be stoic, to walk away, not in weakness, but in stillness, to carry peace like armor, to become a man whose silence carries more power than most people's words ever could. So if you've been waiting, hoping, checking, chasing, let this be your turning point, not to make them miss you, but to finally remember who you are. Because the moment you return to yourself is the moment you become truly irreplaceable. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel. Welcome to Stoic Spirit, where we rise with silence, lead with strength, and never lose ourselves again.